This is the harness that comes with the basic safety kit. You can see that there are two rings. One of these rings is on a handle. Hold the handle in the air and you'll see the large opening where the dog's head goes. Put it over the dog's head so that the handle and the ring are on the back of the neck. Check and make sure that the collar has come all the way through the harness so that it's not twisted up in the front, like so. The strap goes around the chest under the arms and buckles on the left side. Senny wears a house collar, which is a flat collar that your dog wears 24/7 just for your GPS tractive and for your ID tag. The flat collar is not escape proof, so when you go on a walk, you need to use a martingale. You can use a martingale in addition to the flat collar and have your dog wear two collars on a walk. You can use the martingale as the house collar, with the caveat that if you have another dog, it can be a safety risk because lower jaws can get caught in the martingale loop. When properly fit, if the dog pulls, the martingale cinches up and she cannot get her head out, but it does not get so tight that it damages her trachea if she pulls. This harness is not escape proof, so we will use a connector between the martingale and the harness. That way, if she panics and bucks and tries to back out of the harness, she will be caught by the martingale and still be attached to the leash in a chain. You can also attach the connector directly to the solid ring of the leash, and I'll show you next why you might want to do that. Webmaster harnesses are considered no escape. The dog cannot get out of them. They have the 3 straps. They are high quality. We know that they're not going to break. We know that they're not going to fall apart. However, they are no escape. The dog cannot get out of them, but there is one problem with them, is this shape of this D-ring. If your dog is a dog that spins in a circle that goes around you, there is a way, zoom in here, that this latch can open itself up if the dog spins just the right way. Webmaster sells leashes like this with carabiners, and I'm sure that this whole debacle is just so that they can sell their proprietary leashes. You can also get leashes that clam hook like this. If you use a regular leash and you have a dog that spins in circles and goes in front of and behind you, if you want to be on the safe side, you can use a connector and you go from there to here, or you can, for example, wrap it around here and hook it to itself. Like so, to here. And that way, if this comes off, this leash is still connected. Okay. So there are also some collars that have the same sort of D-ring. So as you're buying your collars, you want to keep that in mind. This is a situation if you're using a Webmaster and martingale that you might want to consider hooking the connector to the leash rather than the harness. These are a couple different martingale collars. A martingale collar is a safety device. When this goes on a dog's neck, the leash gets hooked up to here, and if the dog starts to pull to try to escape, it gets tight enough that the dog's head cannot come out of it. This is not the same as a choke chain for punishment training. Sometimes you might see a martingale collar with a chain part here, and that is not the same as a choke chain. The reason being that a choke chain will continue to tighten completely all the way closed and damage the trachea and cause distress and pain. A martingale collar that's properly fitted when it's properly fitted, will be exactly as tight as the dog's neck and no tighter. The important thing, and I have these two side by side, is that your collar has a quick release. Because if your dog gets caught on a fence, gets caught on who knows what, and is stuck and can't get out, can't get loose, and there is no release of any sort here, that is a major safety problem. So you only always ever want to use a martingale with a release device on it. These are a couple different flat collars. This one has a quick release buckle. This one has a regular buckle. There's no huge advantage to either one of them. If you have a concern that your dog is going to get caught on something and you need to get it off fast, obviously the quick release is quicker because it's a quick release, but a flat collar will just come right off over the head. A flat collar does not tighten to the point that it cannot come off over the head like a martingale. So either one of these is acceptable. These are a couple different wrist lanyards. A wrist lanyard is a safety device. If you are walking your dog, holding your leash properly, and you trip and fall and the leash comes out of your hand, then your dog will obviously get away. So you want a wrist lanyard as a backup device. You can get something super cheap like this. You can get something a little bit nicer. There's all kinds of different ones. There's ones with Velcro that wrap around your wrist. Something like this, obviously, it's going to break if your dog pulls really hard. Something like this is a little bit sturdier, but in all of them, the way it works is that it just secures to the handle in some way and then goes around your wrist and secures up to your wrist. This is not a substitute for holding the leash. You still have to hold the leash properly in your hand. And then if you fall, you're safe. This one here has a hook on it, which is nice. If your leash has a hook, you can hook it there. If your leash doesn't have a hook, you can still hook it through there like that. And again, it goes on your wrist, cinches up, and it is a backup device. You still want to hold your leash properly in your hand.